L'Shana Tova. Can you try it with me? L'Shana Tova. One more time. L'Shana Tova. It means Happy New Year. It's Happy New Year 5774. Jews mark time from the beginning of creation. So if you want to know when the world was created, evolution notwithstanding, 5,774 years ago this week. So we are in a time between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. Rosh Hashanah is the New Year. Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement. And these 10 days are sacred to Jews, and you might be wondering, why are we observing them or acknowledging them in a Christian church? And there are a few reasons for that. One is that Jesus was a Jew. And in order for us to really go deep with our Christian faith, it's important for us to understand Jesus' faith. You know, Christianity has evolved into, in some ways, a religion about Jesus. But I don't believe that was Jesus' intention. Christianity is the religion of Jesus, what he believed, how he lived, how he prayed, what he stood for, and the witness he made in the power of love that is stronger than death. This is the religion of Jesus. Judaism is the religion of Jesus. So we observe this holiday in order to understand the faith of Jesus. When we say, give us the mind of Christ, this is a way of getting the soul of Christ so that we can really understand what he meant, what he was talking about, why he used the phrases he used, why he cared about the things that he cared about. We also use this day to remember that Christians, consciously or unconsciously, participate in and sometimes perpetuate anti-Semitism. We may not do it on purpose, or maybe we do sometimes. I'll be absolutely, rigorously honest with you. In a Polish Catholic family in which I grew up, anti-Semitism was not considered in bad taste. It was part of how we talked, and I'm ashamed of that, though I understand, and I say this with respect to my parents and grandparents, why that was part of the fabric of my Polish family's life. But it doesn't make it right. Also in Christian churches, sometimes, particularly around Holy Week, we use gospel readings from the Gospel of John, in which we read the Jews did this, the Jews did that. We say the Jews, the Jews, the Jews over and over again with negative connotation, with little awareness that when these stories were told and when they were recorded, what they really meant was the religious people. It was the culture of that time. It was the religion of that time. So if Jesus were speaking today, he would not come to us and say, the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. He would come to us and say, the Christians, the Christians, the Christians. I know that's hard for us to imagine, that Christianity could stand for anything negative in the world, or is in need for any reform. But Jesus believed his own religion was in need of reform. And that's why that phrase is found in the Gospels. And so on a day like this, we just want to remind ourselves that anti-Semitism is painful to Christ and contradicts our great heritage. We are Christians, yes, and we are spiritual ancestors of the Jews. So that's another reason why we observe this. Another reason to observe the days of awe, the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, is because I think that they have deep, rich spiritual meaning for us, not as tourists in somebody else's religion, but because they still can speak to us about our life situation. 10 days in between a new beginning and a day when we stand together, when our Jewish friends stand together in synagogue. They spend all day in synagogue on Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashanah started last Wednesday night. Yom Kippur is next Saturday night. And they will spend the whole day fasting, no food, no kidding. If you think church goes long, here, imagine. They do all of Lent in one day as a way to begin a new year. They take a fearless moral inventory, to borrow a phrase from another discipline, and say what's right and what's wrong. And these 10 days, they say, are when the book of life is open and our good deeds count especially, because they will determine what the year ahead will be like. We can't have a truly new beginning unless we're willing to take this fearless moral inventory about the past. We have to be willing to acknowledge what has gone wrong. You know, in my early days in ministry, particularly at MCC, we were very fearful of using language of sin or repentance because so many people had been told that who they are as gay